Hey guys, this is Dave. Today we're going to be trying to cast my bronze sword once again. It's been quite a while since I tried before. I've got a little bit different setup now. We're going to try a Petrobond, which is a red oil bonded clay. Hopefully it gives me a lot better result than last time, because if anybody saw the last episode that I actually tried to cast the sword itself, it turned out catastrophic. It was severely overweight, and when I cut it down, it was full of holes. So it would not have been a practical device for any subject to the imagination here. So we're going to try this again here today. So stay tuned. I'll be back whenever we get the furnace up to temperature here, and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, this is my tower of my Petrobond here. I'm getting ready to make the pour. I'm going to let the video run here. It'll be just a minute, and let's see what happens. Stay tuned. Oh, nice and toasty. Well guys, I'm already seeing a few catastrophic failures here. I think this one's going to be a bust here. See the hairline crack there, and the mold there pushed out. So I have a sneaking suspicion the weight of the metal was too much, and I'm going to have to reinforce these sides before the next pour. And I ran out of metal in here too, so I'm thinking I'm going to get another couple pounds just so I have enough reservoir there. But I'll be back in a few minutes after this bad boy cools down enough here, and we're going to see what happened. Okay guys, it's been a few minutes here while this thing's cooled down. I'm going to get ready to bust the straps off this bad boy, and we're going to see what it looks like here inside. Just chucking up the drill right now. It's already moving a little bit on its own. It tells me there's a lot of extra weight in there, which is kind of obvious, but it is showing me that. Let's see if I can not dump all my sand out on this board. Yeah, part of it just dropped. I heard it. I didn't see it, but I heard it. And it's smoldering. That's tells me she's still nice and toasty. Come over here, you. Yeah, look at that smoke roll. Whew. Toasty. And the reason she's smoking here, this sand is bonded with oil, so it's going to get a little hazardous. I'm going to try to get out of the way of the smoke real quick here. Even the dog over there, she moved away from it even, so it's got a pretty foul smell to it. Okay. Let me get you guys over here just so we can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. So right here, all that black is where the metal has scorched the sand, which is to be expected. Oil clay, oil sand, and molten metal. I mean, they're going to react a little bit here. And I'm just trying to push some of this away here so we can get some air to this. And we can get ready to get her out of the mold. Looks like I pulled her out a little early here, but I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to forgive myself. And I really should keep this clay separated, but I'll sift it out later. Sift all the burnt out, because I don't want to be using that burnt part again. I'm sure you probably could, but it's not my intention to do so. But it was rather expensive, so I don't want to waste any of it either. Yeah. So I'm just slowly going to pull more of this sand away here. You see it's starting to cool down a little bit here. Things are starting to smoke less, but it's still pretty strong. It's uncomfortable to put my hand near it for any length of time. Ooh. So we are going to cut it here for just a minute. We're going to let this thing cool off a little bit more while I look for a pair of pliers, so I can try to pull this bad boy out, okay? Be right back with you guys. Okay guys, I'm back here. Found my channel locks here. And we're going to kind of grab hold of this bad boy and see if I can get to the blade itself. Yeah, you can see where some of the metal poured out right there. Is the blade is not meant to be T-shaped. Like you can see right here, it's kind of T-shaped. And we can see the failure right there. This here is a crevice. So that tells me I'm going to have to have my pouring technique on this one. I think next time what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this thing down, maybe on a slight incline, and try to pour it that way, so we don't have the potentiality for these voids. But you can see here, other than that though, what I'm seeing so far, it looks fairly decent, except for the issue with that void. Let me clear my block off here real super quick. You can see my crucible here. Put that over here. Didn't use those two here today. So we'll grab hold of this, keep it nice and steady. And set her here on this block. Because all this sand here is cooked, I'm not going to be using any of this. So I'm just going to take the screwdriver here and we're just going to do a little inspecting. See kind of what happened here. See how the blade itself actually looks. To see if my mold's still good. Because I carved the template for this out of a piece of balsa I got, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago, maybe longer. And when I was doing the last attempted pour, I actually broke it. I put too much pressure on the balsa, and if you ever work with it, you know it's a very soft wood. You can pretty well carve it with your fingernail if you tried. You wouldn't have to try hard either, because it is so soft. Yeah, looking at the basic shape here though, it does look decent. What I'm thinking I'm going to do next time, I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to clamp the mold tighter, because whenever it's poured out, I think that's what caused some of the leakage. Well, I know it's what caused some of the leakage here, and that wasted some metal. But overall, I'd say the first cast, and this is about the same, the first cast looked nicer, but it was very heavy and it was prone to voids. This one here, it's missing the entire front end, the entire point of the blade. But structurally, it feels a lot sounder. And it looks about the color I'm wanting to up here. I don't know how well you guys can see, but it's a nice golden color. The color of true bronze, tin bronze at least. So there's the fin, but I put this in on its side and I filled it from the point. So that's why this up here is missing some metal, is because of this failure through here. It caused me to lose my metal up here. So I poured it from the top down, with the point down. The butt of it here, it needs a little dressing, but otherwise, this one here is not too bad. I mean, the product is definitely not ready to go, obviously, but overall, I can call this one a good learning experience. And you can see all the wasted metal right there. That's very likely why I didn't have enough to cast the entire blade, because I should have had enough there by weight. So it blew this section out, because the dividing line's right here. It pushed this section out. That's that back side that kind of I showed the a little bit ago here, that pushed out. That's where a lot of this extra metal went, because the blade only goes to about here. So we weren't really short a whole lot of metal. I'd say if it wasn't for this failure right here, we'd have had a successful cast. Then what I would have done, I'd taken a grinder to it and kind of dressed down everything, just so we can kind of get a nice, pretty finish. Yeah, overall though, I mean, for my second attempt at this particular blade with the bronze, I don't call it too bad. I'm a little disappointed it didn't work out, but it's a learning experience. I'm not a professional at this, I'm a hobbyist, so, and I've done other things. It's just, this is kind of my pet project here. So, yeah, a little disappointed, but that's life for you. You're not perfect with everything the first time, so I'm just going to dress this up here a little bit more, clean some of the sand off, sift out some of my sand. I'll be back, show you what I kind of got. After it's all cleaned up and cooled down a little bit, I'll rinse it off so we can kind of take a little closer look at it, okay? Okay, guys, I promised to clean this up here and show it again. So this is what we got after the pour. Like I said, the sword should come out to right about here, give or take, so we're not too short. We are hollow, though, to about here. So we have about 6 inches that are not solid, if the tip would have poured. But if you see here, this entire mass should not be here. This should be relatively thin, no more than about it is right here. So it should not be quite paper thin, because that'll be what the grinder does, but it'll be relatively thin. Same thing on this side here. We got a lot of buildup where the mold let loose. And we do have a small defect back here too. Let me refocus this camera. Sorry about that, guys. Where the metal must have cooled and formed a void. So what I'll do to remedy that on the next pour is I will leave a vent hole. If I pour it standing up again, I'll do a vent hole coming out so the molten metal can push the air along and kind of get it out of the way so we don't have these voids. Like I said, what I'm going to do with my mold over there, I'm going to encapsulate both sides of it with some OSB to keep it from being able to push. So once I kind of get locked together, I'm going to screw it down with some 1.25" screws. So it has no way to move. It's stuck, so the sides can't blow out. And that's, I believe, what's caused these two massive formations on the blade, causing me to be short. Like I said, because if it wasn't for these, we would have been at least full down to the end, I would say, judging by the weight of it. We're in the right ballpark now. It's just a matter of I lost too much metal in the process of these voids forming. So I'm not gonna pour again today. I got things to do with the dog over there. Say hi, Daisy. She's not gonna say hi. There she is. So I gotta take care of her today, so we're not gonna do any more pouring today. Maybe next week. What I'm planning on doing is probably Thursday, I'm gonna take the grinder to this, cut it down in about 4-inch pieces. I'll cut it here, cut it right down here and here, so I can recycle this, because bronze is more or less infinitely recyclable. That way I'm not out with metal, because copper prices are through the roof and I don't want to pay for new copper if I don't have to. So there is enough here to do it. I might buy a couple more pounds just to have it of copper and tin to make another little more, so I have reservoir. Because what I'll do, I'll create more of a dome effect on top, so we have pressure of the molten metal pushing down on the blade, on the dried stuff or the cool stuff. And hopefully next round we'll have a good weapon where I can grind down, polish up, and it'll look presentable.